A long-anticipated trial has opened for pro-democracy media mogul Jimmy Lai. The Hong Kong activist is facing a string of litigations, all under a draconian national security law that Beijing imposed on the city. If convicted, the British citizen could spend the rest of his life in prison. Here are the details.
Outside of a courthouse in Hong Kong, dozens waited in line for hours to witness an historical trial. Former media tycoon Jimmy Lai arrived in a prison van as police ramped up security in the surrounding areas. To some, it's a trial for Hong Kong's press freedom and a test for the city's judicial independence.
It's very sad that Jimmy and others, including my party members, have been locked up for many months and years.
Unlike many other high-profile figures, Jimmy Lai is considered one of Hong Kong's most prominent critics against Beijing. He was smuggled out of communist China at age 12 and began to climb all the way up to the top echelons of the city's public figures. In 1995, Lai founded Apple Daily, a popular tabloid known for its support for Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement. But 2020 marked a turning point when Beijing forced its draconian national security law onto the city. The proposition was largely seen as a way for the CCP to crush dissent outside its jurisdiction. As a result, authorities soon raided and forcibly shut down Apple Daily. Lai himself was also slapped with a litany of charges which could land him a lifetime prison sentence. Lai's son Sebastian said that his father's verdict is likely predetermined.
It's a trial with 3 government-appointed judges, no jury, and the security minister recently boasted of a 100% conviction rate. So an absolute sham.
Sebastian is now leading an international campaign to secure his father's release. After Britain transferred control of Hong Kong to China in 1997, Beijing promised to let the city keep its democratic autonomy. Fast forward to today, the CCP's grip is still tightening as hundreds of pro-democracy activists are forced into prison or exile. Jimmy Lai's trial is expected to last for 80 days.
On the sidelines of Jimmy Lai's trial, Chinese leader Xi Jinping met with Hong Kong's chief executive Monday. The official praised the Chinese leader for what he called safeguarding national security and reshaping the Hong Kong District Council system. That says critics condemn what they call the erosion of freedoms in Hong Kong under the Chinese regime. This comes as Beijing officials prepare to impose a new round of security laws on the city in the coming year. A Hong Kong citizen has found herself on a wanted list last week, put there by Hong Kong authorities. They're offering around $130,000 for information leading to her arrest. The accusation, subversion of Beijing's communist rule. NTD spoke with Francis Hui about the bounty.
U.S. citizen Francis Hui is accused of various offenses under China's sweeping and vague national security law. Charges include incitement of secession and subversion, and allegedly colluding with foreign forces.
The subversion and the crimes that they put on us is a way to cover up the actual values that we stand for. You know, this is not just targeted to Hong Kongers, but also to Uyghurs, to Tibetans, Chinese dissidents, and Taiwanese who have constantly be on the side of democracy and freedom. And if that's the crime, then so be it.
Hui says she's been charged with calling on foreign countries to impose sanctions on China and accused of creating hostile activities against the CCP.
We are criminalized for things that we were doing here on US soil. And all we were doing, it's not colluding with foreign forces, it's not subversion, it's just standing on the streets, speaking up to the truth and justice and for democracy.
Hui believes the charges are retaliation to U.S. sanctions on close to 50 Hong Kong officials, judges, and prosecutors behind the suppression of civil liberties. She suspects it's an effort to cut off support and dissuade others both at home and abroad.
They really like to use that term that this is an internal, affair, that they condemn any interference from foreign country. But look at us, we are here in the US. There are people there are bountied individuals that are residing in the UK, in Australia.
Hui says her case is another sign the U.S. government and its policy haven't done enough to stop the intimidation and harassment, despite applying various sanctions and taking steps like forming the House Select Committee on the CCP.
There is a lack of cooperation between the U.S. and other democratic allies in their strategy to hold China accountable to stop this behavior happening. I think we should start from looking into the issue of transnational repression and really drill down to the issue and try to protect activists that are residing in the U.S.
Aside from Congress, Hui says the general public and international community need to educate themselves about the Chinese regime's human rights violations to protect the values they hold dear.